The creation of cadootz started because I was buying another cheddar cheese cracker every single week, and my kids were obsessed. And I'm like, no one is making snacks that parents feel good about putting in their grocery carts. I wanted organic, I wanted protein, I wanted no seed oils, and I also wanted gluten-free and nut-free. I'm like, well, there has to be someone that's going to do this. So we decided to create cadootz, and it really checks all the boxes of what a health-conscious parent is looking for. I'm really proud of it because I didn't want to start a snack company. I didn't want to start a food company. I have a great job. I write cookbooks. I make my food content. Like, I'm not doing this because I was like, oh, let me just add something else. It's so mission-driven. Like, kids need this. Parents need this. We need a brand like cadootz.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Perfect Bite podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Perkins. At the start of this year, I promised myself I would shoot my shot more to reach out to incredibly accomplished folks so that you all can really learn what it takes to be a successful founder across the food industry. I'm so honored to introduce you to our guest today, who I ended up meeting on LinkedIn. She's an OG blogger turned business maven in the food space, from recipe developer to a massive online presence, investor in other CPG brands, new CPG brand founder herself, and her second cookbook is on the way. Just, a couple things she's working on. So please welcome founder of Rachel Mansfield, cadootz, Great Shit Ventures, and author of More Please, Rachel Mansfield.
Thank you so much. Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. That was some obnoxious introduction that I have for myself.
I'm just making sure I'm getting all your accomplishments down here in place. It's beautiful to see everything you've done in just, 11 years?
Thank you. That's so sweet. Yeah, I guess mom of 3 is the only thing missing. Yeah.
That's true. Yes. And we'll talk about this a little bit more today too. But the fact is, you have a co-founder in life in every way possible.
That is true.
Doing everything with your husband, Jordan. So excited to hear how you're doing it all. Plus, I think I read you're also working on a home renovation. So you just don't like to sit still, do you?
No, I don't. And it's a problem. I feel like it's almost obnoxious when I'm telling people like what I'm doing, what my job is, everything going on. Like, there's a lot to talk about, or everything going on in my life sometimes just like takes up too much of the conversation. Where like sometimes when I see a friend, I'm like, I don't want to bring up anything about myself right now. I only want to hear about you and what you're doing. And like a part of like having like my platforms is people see a lot of it. Like, they don't see everything anymore, but like, they see a lot of it. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
It's kind of like your diary as well, so that you can check in with family and be like, there's a lot going on here. Go to my Substack. Go to any of the other channels here.
Exactly.
Oh, well, I'm excited to chat about everything you're doing now, what you've done that's really led up to this, what you're looking forward to next. But I always love to start at the beginning. When did you first fall in love with food? And did you ever think your whole life and career would end up revolving around it?
No, never. Truly never. The first time I can remember that I was really obsessed with food was in like middle school, high school, probably like early into high school, I should say. I was always baking people cakes for their birthdays.
Oh.
Not from scratch, just like boxed mix. Like, I'd make brownies too. Like, I loved baking and making desserts. And I grew up in a house where my mom always had like a baked good of sorts, like in the freezer or on the counter or wherever it may be. And I just had such passion for doing that. And I think then I started working at Salad Works, like a fast casual, kind of like a Panera. And I worked there. And then I really became obsessed with food because I was making like salads and wraps and paninis and soups. And like, I used to take like the chocolate chip cookies and put them on the panini grill and heat them up and then eat them like all melt. Like, I loved it and I had such a passion for it. And then I went to college and didn't really do much with food. And after college, when I was really trying to like eat healthier and understand quality of ingredients and, using ingredients like almond flour and making overnight oats. And that was when I really started to become like super passionate about the food that I was eating, like the quality of it, and just teaching myself that I could make food that tasted good, but also made me feel good. Like, I didn't have to like sacrifice flavor for health.
Right. I was just about to ask you that, is when you were starting to lean into those healthier aspects. I mean, part of taking care of yourself, which sounds so boring if you were talking to your 21-year-old self in college, is it just feels good to feel good, And when you're just not taking care of yourself. Everything slows down so much. So I'm glad you figured that out. I mean, we do not want to talk about what I was eating in college. That's for sure.
I mean, in my freshman year of college, I put on like 30 pounds because I was eating like chicken finger melts, which is a grilled cheese sandwich with chicken fingers in the center. And I was like doing keg stands and funneling beer and having like all of these mixed drinks and like pizza at 3 a.m. And I had zero regrets. It was the best time. Like I had so much fun. By the time sophomore year rolled around, I was like, oh gosh, like what am I doing to myself? And then I fell on like the other end of the platform where I was like not eating enough and I was like calorie counting and I didn't really over exercise. I just never exercised in my life. So me going to the gym in general was over exercising. But then I just like, then I just like wasn't eating enough. And then I felt bad. I felt bad when I was like binging at night and just like drinking too much beer and eating too much junk. I don't like to say junk food in front of my kids, or for the sake of this conversation, eating too much junk food. Then I didn't feel good when I was like malnourished and like not feeding my body the food that it deserves. And like I finally had like in my 20s had really found that like happy place where like eating the food that like makes me feel good and actually tastes good.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, I was out in California. It was a lot of Jack in the Box tacos late at night.
I've never had those.
I mean, try one day.
All right.
The same way I tell people, like, try like a Raising Cane's one day, but like, don't expect you're going to get the same as an amazing taco, like on the beach or on the streets of like Mexico City.
Got it.
It's just
noted.
More the experience. So around the same time that you were really changing your relationship with food, with cooking, with falling in love with it, you were in the lifestyle PR side of things and you ended up getting laid off. So this is about 11 years ago. Instead of going and working at another agency or working for someone else, what made you really decide that you were going to be an entrepreneur? What was that aha moment?
Yeah, so I think saying I was laid off is a very eloquent way of saying I was fired. So
I tried to be sensitive. I've been fired too before, and frankly, it was the best decision for all of us. I was like, if you're not firing me, I'm quitting. But this one had severance involved.
Oh, well, you got lucky. I did not get that. I did get unemployment though. But, so when I was working at a beverage company in the Better For You space, I was running their earned media and PR, social. This is, about 10, 11 years ago. So it was when like Instagram really started to become popular and like influencers were not a thing. Everyone was like a blogger or of that nature. And I felt very undervalued and undercompensated at my job. So I wanted to have a side hustle. I looked into walking dogs, babysitting. Then I was like, Jordan, to my then fiance, now husband, I'm going to make overnight oats and sell them to people and like deliver them on the streets of Manhattan. He was like, Rachel, that's great. But like, why don't you just make oatmeal recipes, share them on a website, and then see if people are interested in it? So I started sharing all my oatmeal recipes. It was called like Oats for You, my website. And then I really just like started to take off. Like I started having so much fun, like creating all these delicious recipes with oatmeal that involved into like banana breads and then cookies. And just, I really started to like expand like my food genre, I should say. And I had about like 10 or so thousand Instagram followers, and I wasn't really making money from it. I was just like a side passion. Like it started as like, I wanted a hustle, but like I wasn't really making money from it. And my current job felt that my Instagram is going to be a conflict of interest. They fired me. And I was like, oh my God, I just gotten married. I walked out onto like 37th and 7th Avenue. I lived on like 26th Street. And I just started like walking home like, wow, I'm 25. I'm unemployed. I just got married. Like, what a loser. So I got home. I said to my like husband at the time, we just got married, I don't know what to do. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. Like, could I actually turn this into something? And, I was fortunate enough to collect unemployment. I've always been a saver. Like I lived at home after college for a few years. Like we always have lived below our means. And then my parents and Jordan, they knew I was so passionate about this. And they knew that I'm not someone who's going to quit. And I would do anything it takes to like make something succeed. So they said, give yourself 6 months, see if you could make this profitable, see if you could turn your passion for food and this whole industry into a profitable business. And knock on wood, 6 months went by. I had already like way surpassed my salary at my job that fired me. And I started really focusing on like my own brand. And from there, it started to take off. It was amazing. And like, I never would have had the chutzpah or like the courage to quit my job to pursue a passion for making healthy recipes. Like, not in a million years did I think I could do that.
Right. And it takes like that moment when you're like, oh, this seems like it really sucks in the moment. Like you're feeling not only that sense of urgency from a financial perspective, but it's that thing of like, I'm feeling really down on myself because someone fired me. Like someone said no to me, rejected you in that sense, but you have to keep pushing at the same time. You can allow a little wallow and then just go right back into it.
I also think,
so I'm glad you took yourself back out.
Thank you. I also think that at that time, like the idea of working for yourself, it wasn't as like common as it is today.
No.
And I was like, corporate America's not going anywhere. If I decided to go back and like, I could go work at a PR agency or I could go find another job at a brand. Like I knew I could find eventually something, but it's like, you always want to give yourself some grace and like believe in yourself, and you never know what could happen.
Absolutely. 2016 was the year that I went full-time on the startup that I had started around that time. Wasn't in food space. That was more in the fashion rental space, was trying to take on kind of like a peer-to-peer rent the runway.
Cool.
And sometimes my aunt would just call me and be like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I am working. And a lot of people in my family did not understand the concept of a startup or working for yourself. They're like, so you have an education. Why can't you go get a good job?
No.
And I was like, because it just doesn't feel right. And the other passion was calling a lot. So I want to hear a little bit more too about those 2015, 2016 days of really starting this up. What were you doing to get brand partners' attention? How were you reaching out to them? What were you doing in this space when, again, like you were saying, blogging was really taking off here. You know, Instagram was starting to take off. What would you say are the biggest differences between reaching out to brand partners then versus now?
So then it wasn't as saturated. So there weren't as many content creators in general. At the same time, their brands didn't really have like an influencer budget because influencer marketing wasn't a thing. But I was also constantly pitching myself, like emailing brands like, hey, my name's Rachel. Like, I'm obsessed with your products. I buy them at this grocery store. This is how I use them. Would you like to partner together? Do you want to collaborate? And I really still maintain that level of effort and like relationships now, but then into now, except now I have a management team that like helps pitch me to brands that I want to work with. And now there's just like a lot more inbound. Cause like, again, then it wasn't really as much of a thing. But as the industry has grown, my brand has grown. So I almost feel like we've grown together.
So
in a
nice.
lot of ways, which is great. But I think a lot of the times creators just assume, and even just those out there consuming content, that things just land in your inbox. And there are great things can get in my inbox sometimes. I'm not going to lie, like, it's phenomenal. But I would say 80% of the time, like my favorite brand partnerships are ones that like I'm reaching out to that brand, being like, I would love to work with you. And they see that I tag them on Instagram. They see that I use their product. And I've always like still continued to take that initiative and like really try to maintain the relationships with brands.
I think that's so great because like you said, if you genuinely like something, why not reach out to that person? Why not reach out to that brand? Shoot the shot. So it's nice to see you're still shooting the shot,
always.
even though it looks a little different these days. When's the last time you really did it?
Earlier in the month, I was on the Today Show doing a cooking segment, which I typically go on there about 1-2 times a year for the last few years. But when they said that they would have me on the day that cadootz launched on January 7th, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And like, they didn't just randomly email me being like, hey, Rachel, what are you doing January 7th? Like me and my team were like pitching that out and trying to make that happen. So I think that was a pretty surreal moment where we put it out there, like we put it out in the universe, like it actually happens. You're like, this is amazing. So I guess, yeah, that'd be the main one I could think of.
I love that. And again, you timed it perfectly where you were like, this has to happen on this date. So, I mean, you really started 2026 with a bang here. You have cadootz coming out. You have pre-orders for your cookbook, More Please. What would you say? What was the reasoning behind that timing?
Yeah.
Is it just new year, new you kind of moment, getting after it after the holidays?
It was so unintentional. So the idea for cadootz started 3 years ago, and we didn't think it was going to take us 3 years to launch from the day that that idea really came to me. And then by the time we did all the R&D and like created the product we were proud of, figured out all of the operational aspects to this business and like creating it. There's so many parts of creating a brand that no one talks about. And by the time that we were ready to launch, it was going to be January, and my cookbook was going to be coming out around that time too. So it just so happened that it was like in the same week, because also if I was going to be going on the Today Show, I wanted to be able to plug my book and talk about it. So that was why we wanted it to happen before January 7th. So it was very not thought out. Like, we weren't supposed to be talking about all these things at the same time. It was the most obnoxious week I felt, like, from my end. I'm like, how many more things can you do like that? It was just a lot. And we're also renovating a 90-year-old home. There's a lot of moving pieces. Like, all of my kids are born in the winter. I mean, all 3 kids are born in the winter. Like, my baby is December 30th. My oldest is January 26th. Like, I'm planning all their birthday parties. There's so much going on. And I'm just the type of person where, like, I go, go, go all day. I hit the bed at like 9:30, and I am out cold. This morning, I usually get up pretty early, but the winter has been like, I can't get up early. I just can't do it.
It's so dark.
It's dark, and I live in New Jersey. It was 5 degrees this morning. This is the coldest winter. And my husband, he was actually sick over the weekend, and he woke up this morning, and I'm like mortified to even say this. It was 7:11 in the morning. I'm usually up at 5 something. I was like flabbergasted. Miraculously, my youngest, my 3-year-old, slept that late. Usually he's up in the 6s. Like, I was like, wow, but it's just like I'm constantly moving at a speed that I can't keep up with. And I was just like, I needed the rest.
Your body was telling you.
Yeah.
I feel that way on the weekends sometimes. I'll be like, why did I let myself sleep in? We don't have kids. We have 2 cats. You wake up, you feed the cats. You can go back to bed if you want to, in our case.
Yeah.
But there are just times that I feel like, I don't know, almost like the rest isn't warranted, but
it's always warranted. I don't like believe in like regrets, but something that I wish I didn't do, which I guess is a regret before I had kids, was I didn't sleep. Like, but also like on the nights, like we went out on Saturday night and I slept like 5.5 hours. That's also played a factor into like yesterday into this morning's sleep. So, you know, I love sleep. I'm a baby, but I just don't get to sleep in all that often. I just go to bed early.
We need to get a getaway for you, like in the next few months.
That sounds
once
great.
you're through.
Let me know where and when.
Well, let's take things back just a little bit again here. So I want to talk about when you're adding so many things onto your plate. So it relates to your past, it relates to now. As your brand was growing so much, as the platform was growing so much, you're putting out amazing content. People are seeing, you know, essentially all of the healthy recipes they can do. It feels so idyllic in some ways. How do you feel sometimes behind the scenes when you're posting things that are, you know, happy and beautiful and here to make people's lives better, but you're juggling so much at once?
I think I'm pretty honest and like an open book when it comes to what I'm struggling a bit. Like, I've shared online numerous times of like how I feel like overwhelmed at times, or I feel like pressure. Like, I used to post reels on Instagram 7 days a week. And last year I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm not going to be on this platform 7 days a week. And I scaled back where I post reels 4 days a week now, which is amazing. And I'll post stories and stuff in between. And like that really, I was like honest and open about that online. I also have shared things about just like vulnerabilities of mine in the past, where like I didn't have a regular menstrual cycle, for example, for like 10 years. I did fertility treatment to get pregnant with their kids. Like, my community has really like watched and like grown up with me in a lot of ways. So I've always taken people along for the ride and the journey. Like, sometimes where it's like I'm oversharing, but I also just know that when I'm sharing something, it resonates with someone. And I always want people to know that like they're not alone if like they're feeling stressed, or they like their child isn't hitting this milestone, or, you know, they just got fired from their job, or they don't know what to eat. I just want people to know that I'm there for them. So I think I've done a pretty good job at like showing people it's not all like hard stars and rainbows. I post often like my home being a complete mess on the weekends. Like, I have 3 kids, 7, 5, and 3. Like, they're all boys. Like, they're everywhere. They're like, there's Legos. I went to bed last night, got into my under the sheets, and there's a Pokemon card in my bed. And I was like, why is this here? You know? And I think sharing little tidbits like that, I think it just makes people feel like, oh my God, that happened to me too. Like, it's relatable. Like, I try to make myself as relatable as possible.
Yeah, I think that's so important and I liked seeing that in the last year or two, there's just been that shift back towards authenticity online in general. And that's what I felt like was there 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It didn't have to be all picture perfect. And then there was that stage where I like was unfollowing people because I was like, I can never look like this. Or I can never, like, this is just too much for me.
No, I agree. And I think some people get where like they don't like to follow someone that's like very unattainable and unrelatable. Sometimes like the aspiration is like motivating. So I think in some instances, but other times I'm like,
Right.
I find that a lot of like parenting Instagrams, for example, I just constantly feel like they're yelling at me and they make me feel like I'm a horrible parent. So I like stop following a lot of them because like I can't gentle parent the way that like other kids need it. I just don't want someone making me feel like I'm a bad parent. So I think like sometimes you
Right.
have to have your feed with like you want to surround yourself digitally and in person with people that like make you feel good about yourself and like you do feel like you can relate to. And I think it's good to have that aspiration because it keeps you motivated and it keeps you like going, but you don't want someone to make you feel
Yes.
bad. I don't want people yelling at me.
I don't like that either. And I feel like this happens to all my mom friends too. They're like, I can't go in this group anymore because I'm always doing something
Yeah,
wrong.
that's how I felt.
Well, that's being a woman. No. So speaking of people that you're surrounding yourself with that make you feel good, your co-founder in life is your husband, Jordan. When did you two decide that you were going to team up? And how do you think your relationship has evolved over the years in terms of working together, in terms of raising a family together, doing, things like huge house renovations? Your lives are totally intertwined.
Yeah, so Jordan and I have been together since we were 19. And we met in
Wow.
college. He worked in accounting, then he worked in finance, and he was miserable at his job. Like he hated his job. He would come home every day, like not happy. He also, in his job, he didn't feel like he was appropriately compensated for like the time and energy and effort that he was putting in. And then COVID hit and he was home in our apartment all the time, like working remote. He saw like how motivated I was and how inspired I was every day, like doing what I'm doing. And I needed to hire someone. I needed someone to come into my business and help me. And so I said to him, like, why don't you just come work with me? Like, I need extra hands. So he quit his job. He started working with me. We quickly learned that that was not where Jordan was going to thrive. He did, understandably so, did not want to wake up every day and his wife be like his boss and his wife. Like it's hard.
Yes.
There's a lot of like weird, there's no boundaries basically. And also it's hard for him to come into like my brand where it's like, it's all about what I want and my vision. And so he helped me for a bit of time. Then at the same time, we started investing in brands. So I had said to him, like, why don't we start a venture capital fund? So then we launched Great Shit, where we're investors personally and through Great Shit into 25 different companies now. And
So cool.
he runs that, which is amazing. And then when we were looking for brands to invest in, I was like, I want healthy kid snacks. And we gave ourselves a few years to try to find them to invest in. We found a couple, but we didn't find like that, like shelf stable, crunchy, salty, maybe sometimes sweet snack brand that kids gravitate towards, like the next generation kid snack brand. So then I said to
Yes.
Jordan, why don't we start a kid snack company? And this is 3 years ago. And he was like, honestly, I think that's a pretty good idea. If you want to do this, let's do it. So now he does that with me. And that's really his like primary day to day. And it's hard working with your partner. And we have 3 kids
Oh, yeah.
together. Like we've been together since college. Like we know each other's weaknesses. We know each other's trigger points. Like we know what to say to like really rile each other up. But
Oh, yeah.
I hope that you don't trust anyone as much as you trust your partner, your life partner. And to work together and also for like our kids to see us build something like this together is amazing. We actually were talking to a venture fund the other day that said that they exclusively invest in brands that are husband and wife owned and operated.
I love brands that have like a
Yeah.
life partner team behind them because again, you are fully in it.
Like you make it happen. Like you make it happen together. And it's really
It is. And I appreciate you mentioned too that you're fundraising. I was going to ask if you were going to take any outside capital yourself and how you're approaching that. Fundraising itself is a full-time job.
It is. And like we fundraise for Great Shit. So we are very well versed in that. We are not fundraising the same way that most brands do. We don't need capital. We are good. We have our third co-founder of Cadootz. His name is Kiva. He's the managing partner of Selva Ventures. And he's backing cadootz right now. Jordan and I have backed cadootz. We're going to be doing a friends and family round because we want to involve some strategics into our brand of like who could help, who wants to help support, who wants to get involved. But we're fortunate that we're not out there like really fundraising in the sense where most brands are. So like I would feel guilty if I was like, yeah, we're like, trying to raise $5 million. We're okay, which is great. But we have a nationwide retail launch for cadootz coming up in June. I can't say the retailer yet, but we're going to be announcing it in the next few months. And we need capital for that. So we're trying to figure out like the best approach and path to do that. And I think sometimes being an investor in 24 brands almost like paralyzes you because we see how other people have done it and like how we don't want to do it, how we do want to do it. Because you're like, ooh, is that the right way? Well, like this brand did that and it didn't work out, or this brand's doing that and it does work. So we're trying to map out like what we want to do. And we're thankful that we have a good network in the venture space to provide feedback for us and like their input.
Yeah. And I appreciate your perspective coming into this because one, I love that you went into the investment side of things. I think a lot of folks who are successful in a space, we just don't have enough angel investors. And then becoming a venture capital fund yourself is awesome. Raising funds for a fund can be trickier than just for a single company. My partner's gone through it, and it took, essentially things happening in the ecosystem and just life for people to finally put money towards early stage founders in Chicago in his case. So you're taking your time, you're looking at things smartly. What would you say as you're learning from your portfolio companies? You've got Gonanas in there, which I love so much. What would you say that you've seen in terms of their biggest challenges over the last few years? What are you trying to do as you're going into 2026 and beyond in terms of folks that, as you're investing in yourselves, who else you're looking to bring into the portcos?
So I think that's a mistake that a lot of brands make is not a lot, but I guess a good amount. They do try to do too much too fast. Where like they created, say, 3 amazing flavors of a product. Then they want to do the next one. They want to do the next one before everybody has even tried their original 3 or whatever amount it is. And if you want to, I'm of the believer, if you want to do something, you do it well. Someone asked me last week if we're creating more flavors of cadootz. And I'm like, yeah, of course we are. But like, we're 20 days old. Like, I'm not launching a new product right now. Like, I still have to like send out all of the products from the initial orders of who bought cadootz in the first place. And I think brands get so excited and so consumed with like the thought of innovating and ideating and like continuing to go. And a lot of the times they don't just focus on what they have and really try to succeed there and then expand. So I think that's something that like a lot of the brands in our portfolio, they do a good job where like they try to be good at what they're good at. And once they're in a good groove, then they start to expand. And, we're mostly invest in food. We have a couple supplements. We have a tech company. So we try to diversify a bit, but like food is our bread and butter, no pun intended. And so we really have seen like that approach to retail and like what has worked for brands as well. And we're trying to have a very strategic approach to us being in shelves. We're like, again, we don't want to go into more stores than we can handle. Like we want to pick one retail partner in the beginning, go really hard with them, focus on succeeding there, and then from there expand.
Yeah. So tell us how you're going to stand out on the shelves as cadootz. So you've got great holistic ingredients here. You're really thinking about dietary restrictions like you've got in your house, like we've got in our house. How else are you standing out? Tell us a little bit more behind the flavors, the textures, and just how you're targeting folks.
Yeah,
here.
I'd love to. So the creation of cadootz started because I was buying another cheddar cheese cracker every single week. And my kids were obsessed. They loved it, especially my middle son. It was like his favorite food. And I was like, I'm buying a glorified goldfish. I'm buying a product that has enriched wheat flour, highly processed oils. They're organic, sure, but like they're not anything better for you. I just kind of went down a rabbit hole. And I'm like, no one is making snacks that parents feel good about putting in their grocery carts. Like, I don't think anyone picks up a lot of the snacks and feels pride in giving it to their kid. It's more like, my kid loves this. I just want them to eat. Let me just get them to eat. Whatever makes them happy. And I'm like, it has to end. Like, this is ridiculous. And then all the, quote, healthy, better for you companies, no one was checking the boxes of what I was looking for. I wanted organic. I wanted protein. I wanted no seed oils. And I also wanted gluten-free and nut-free. And like, I don't think that seed oils are the enemy. I will not be someone that is telling you that. Like, I'm not perfect. I consume seed oils in many shapes and forms. But
Who doesn't love sesame seed oil?
like,
I know. When this battle came out, I was like, I am slightly confused.
It's hard.
But it's also because I have a nut allergy. So for me, I'm like, seeds are such an integral part then of my diet because it's one of the ways I can get a non-meat protein in. So
Totally. And like, I think there's, unfortunately, I think the way that some sunflower oils and safflower oils and all these oils are made, it's not as good and pure as like extra virgin olive oil and avocado oils. Like I see it, but there's no cracker that didn't have seed oils in it. I'm like, well, there has to be someone that's going to do this. So we decided to create cadootz, and it really checks all the boxes of what a health conscious parent is looking for. Also, I wanted it to be gluten-free, but it's not a gluten-free snack, if that makes sense, where I don't want someone to not buy it because they see it's gluten-free and they think it's for gluten-free people only. I actually had a meeting at my house earlier. There was a group of 6 people that were at my house. They wanted to try cadootz, so I had some sampling, put out some samples of it. Like, oh, wow, this is gluten-free. I would have never guessed. And that is exactly what I wanted. It's like accidentally gluten-free. And that's the same with my recipes. Like my new cookbook is accidentally gluten-free. If you want it to be gluten-free, it is. If you don't, it's not. And my middle son is gluten-free. My husband has celiac. I'm like, I have to be careful about the food we bring into this house. So with cadootz, it really just checks all of those boxes. And kids can't bring nuts or sometimes seeds. I can't do seeds for the preschool that my middle and my youngest are at. And
I could
there's
see
like
that.
no crackers to pack that are like healthy. So we decided to create cadootz, and they have cheddar, sea salt, ranch, and they were so hard to create. Someone asked me the other day if I was nervous that someone else coming out with a product similar, and I was like, honestly, no, because it took me so long to get here that I'm like, good luck. Please be my guest. Try to create our product because it is so delicious. It's salty, it's crunchy, it's craveable, and the ranch is like so fun and different that also like diversifies us a bit. And like, of course, we're not going to be a cracker company. Like we're a snack company. There's other things to come once we have perfected this and ironed out the kinks on the back end. So yeah, we're really excited. I'm really proud of it because I didn't want to start a snack company. I didn't want to start a food company. I have a great job. I write cookbooks. I make my food content. Like we have a venture fund. Like I'm not doing this because I feel like I was like, oh, let me just add something else. It's so mission driven. Like kids need this. Parents need this. We need a brand like cadootz.
Yeah. And I think that's the best founders that we have out there. They have that problem innately themselves. They see it and they're like, I have to solve this.
Yes.
Someone's got to do it. Why not me? Why not just jump into it? And like you said, product development takes so much longer than people realize, and it's so much more difficult. How did you come up with the name cadootz? It's so fun.
It's like naming a company was the second hardest part of starting this company because everything is trademarked. So my youngest son, his name is Cooper, and I'm always calling him like cadootz and Coogie and just like random names. And one day cadootz just like rolled off my tongue when I was like playing around with him. And Jordan and I were like, oh, that could actually be like a possibility because we would always like write down ideas in our phone of what to name the company. And I'm like, I actually am obsessed with the name cadootz. And I brought it to our other co-founder who like, he jokes all the time. He like did not like the name. And now he'll randomly be like, remember when you didn't like the name of cadootz? Like to me, I'm like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. And
you're like, sure.
Perfect. And then I also sent a text to a bunch of my friends. I'm like, hey, can you have your kid say cadootz, take a video of them and then send it to me. I want to see how they say cadootz. I want to hear it. And I want to see their facial expressions. So a lot of them were like saying it and like giggling. Because they were like, what is that? Like they were laughing. And I want a child to like, be giggling and laughter and like having fun. And I wanted that like lighthearted, maybe sometimes a little sassy, snarky brand. And cadootz is so perfect. I also wanted a happy face in the logo. And so with cadootz, with the 2 eyes and then the shape of our cracker is a mouth. So it gives that like happy face. So it checked all the boxes for us.
A little exclamation point. You've got that on your cookbook too. Do you just lean into the exclamation point? Is that kind of the brand is like everything's heightened?
Yes, I'm just like annoyingly energized. Honestly, like sometimes I have to like read my emails. I'm like, that is too many exclamation points. You need to tone it down a notch.
Take out a couple.
Tone it down, Rachel. Yeah, like we have the exclamation point in cadootz and in my book because my book is like, more please. Like it's when like a child or your partner or your friend or whomever is like asking for more, you're kind of saying it like pretty energized. If I could put an emoji on there, I would have. I just like love putting life into what we're reading.
And like it sets the tone too, as well. You know, cadootz, like you hear that and you're like, yeah, fun, snacky, family friendly, you know, everything that you're like, what is a cadootz? And it makes you think about it more. And I hear more please. And like you said, it's seconds, it's thirds, but I also appreciate that you're coming from that perspective of you've already got so much on your plate. Like, you don't need more, please. Like, this is a way to simplify things
Yes.
in a lot of ways.
That's my goal for parents. And like, I just want to make people's lives easier in every way possible. So it's like, you want a healthy snack that you feel good about for your kids and for yourself. Great. Here's cadootz. You want someone to figure out what you should be making for dinner, like pretty much using pantry staples that you have on hand. Great. That's more, please. Like, I want to help people because I cannot tell you how many of my friends are like uninspired in the kitchen, or they're stressed, or they don't know what to make. And I just want people to feel less stressed, because like food is meant to be fun. And I don't want people to feel like they have to cook 3 different meals to feed their family. This is the meal that we're making. Here's how you can adapt it for you versus your 3-year-old versus your 10-year-old. But it's the same meal. And, you know, for example, I make this like chop Greek salad with za'atar chicken, and it's so good. Although I'm pretty sure I say za'atar wrong, but like, I'm really sorry if I offend anyone when I do that. I butcher everything. And like for my kids, like I'll make quinoa and I serve that with the salad, and it's more of like a grain bowl for them. Like when we do like a build your own taco bar night, like if I want a taco salad, I could do that. They could put it in their tortilla. They could do whatever they want. So the book is just made to make people's lives easier, and cadootz is made to make people's lives feel easier.
Yeah, I like that you're approaching health and the fun of food instead of the way we grew up. Whenever I was thinking about healthy eating, or you're trying to take care of yourself, it's always restriction.
Yeah.
It's always taking things away. And yes, if you're overdoing things, you take some away to come back down to balance. But you're saying there's so many more options here available.
So many more options. And like, I am of the belief where like, it's okay to sneak a vegetable into a recipe. Like, that is okay. A lot of parents like, oh, you shouldn't hide food. I'm like, okay, well, when I'm making lasagna, there's a vegetable somewhere in there that my kids don't know about. When I make muffins, I make these like morning glory muffins that are in my book. Like, there's carrots in there. I feel good about it. I'm always putting vegetables in things, but at the same time, my kids love vegetables. Like, they'll just ask for broccoli and cucumbers. Like, that's great. But the more that I could get it into their diets, the better, because I also notice that the more I do, the more that they crave it. Where when they go to day camp all summer and they come home every night, it's like 5:30, and they're eating like chicken fingers and hot dogs and ice pops and like everything that like I don't feed them on a day-to-day basis. And they're like, can I have some watermelon or like fruit? They want protein. They want carrots. They want something that's just like nutrient dense. And that's where like my recipes can really help families and really anyone who just wants to eat healthy, because you're eating healthy without realizing you're eating healthy.
Yes. And again, like you taught them at the young age, so then their bodies are naturally working that way, which is so nice versus having to learn it later.
Yeah, I think it's so much harder that way.
Definitely. It is. It is. I have to control my sweet tooth big time.
Same. I have no control over my sweet tooth, but I do try.
You gotta just keep it out of the house for me. So everything you're doing and everything you're continuing to do is really about giving more to folks in terms of health, in terms of flavor, in terms of wellness, and, all of the different brands that you're working with as well within your portcos too. So you're always getting more on your plate here. I think folks would love to hear too, what are your favorite things to do to fill your own cup? What is your escape? What is your, say, sweet tooth moment? What are the things that you're doing so that you can feel more like Rachel and show up for everyone else?
Yeah, I go to a workout class that's like a heated sculpt class that I'm obsessed with, like absolutely addicted. I just started going in like October, and I would go like 1-2 days a week, and because it ruins my hair. And I am a hair girl. Like, I used to wash my hair once a week. Like, I don't like doing it. I leave that class and it's like a bucket of water is poured on my head.
Yes.
And I look disgusting. Like, I walked in on the other morning and Brody, my middle son's like, Mommy, what happened to you? I looked awful. It's like one of those things where like you go home and then you shower, then you're still sweating. Yes. It's the best, but like I leave that class and I am like the nicest, kindest, most free feeling human, because like the heat, my body specifically just loves it, especially when it's so cold out. I crave it. So that's something I do that like makes me feel more like relaxed, but like alive at the same time, and decompresses me. And it's also a very fast paced 45 minutes. So like you have
you're strong.
Yeah. Like you have no choice but to like go. And it's weights and it's jumping. It's really active. It's not yoga. It's like a heated sculpt class. It's hard. So I love that. And then my other way to like decompress, I guess, a little bit is a glass of wine. I need a glass of wine.
What's your favorite? Are you a Savi Sancerre?
Yeah, Sancerre.
That's always a
which
good
like
one.
it's delicious. I love it, but like it's always the most expensive on the menu. Like why you got to do that to me, girl? Like why you got to be so expensive? So that
You just got good
I
taste.
guess,
I don't know.
I guess, but then the other night it was $21 at the restaurant for one glass, and I looked at my friend. I'm like, all right. And I got one glass because like I could have gotten like Chardonnay for 13 and got two of them for like basically the same price. But it makes me happy, and there's no price on my happiness when it comes to a Saturday evening. So it was great.
And plus, like, when you're spending time, your money, and like, even if you're thinking about food, like calories wise, like, you want to feel good about what you're putting in yourself.
Totally.
So I've even taught myself, like, don't get the sad salad just because it's a salad.
Yeah, no.
The same way, like, I'd rather get one glass of extremely great wine, like you said, instead of doubling up on, yeah, that was fine. Maybe I'll just get slightly more buzzed, but you're not enjoying
No,
it as
I
much.
couldn't agree more. And it's not something you do every day. So it's nice. So those are like my two things that like make me feel more Rachel.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing
Thank
that.
you.
And they sound fun too. They sound like the perfect Saturday put together.
Thank you. They're very fun.
So, as we're wrapping up here, I'd love to hear what you're most proud of. What do you think that you're going to lean into more? Again, I know you just launched 2 more babies into this world, but how do you want to continue to grow? What do you think is next in the journey?
I mean, I'm most proud of being a mom, like being a mother to 3 amazing children who are so different in every single way. I'm like so proud of that. Like, I think being a mom, being a parent is really hard. Being a parent is a lot mentally, it's a lot physically, it's a lot emotionally. Like, when your child's in pain, like you feel that pain, like you test each other in ways you never knew that you were going to be able to test one another. And I'm very proud of the mom that I am to my kids, like recognizing that I am so not perfect. I mess up every single day, but it also like makes you look at your parents in a new lens where like they're growing
Yes.
and learning the same day you are. Like, my oldest son is like smarter than my husband and I combined. And he asks me questions and I'm like, oh, like, I don't know how to answer his questions. Like, they challenge me, and like also they challenge my patience. So I'm very proud of like just being a mom and being there for them. And you know, I grew up in a house where my mom didn't work, but like she was at everything, and every day she like picked me up from school, and like I can't do that, but like when my kids come home, they know to come into my office immediately on the days I can't pick them up. And I always want them to know that like I'm here for them and like I'm supportive in every way possible.
I think they're proud of you too, even when you're feeling like I said, like you have to balance your children with all of these different business ventures that you have. I mean, something has to give sometimes. How do you reckon with that feeling?
Of balance.
Yeah, I mean, because I know true balance is almost impossible.
It is impossible. I have said this so many times that some days, like, I don't believe in the word balance, to be honest with you. Some days I am such a better businesswoman and working so well, getting everything done that I wanted to get done. And then I'm sacrificing being a mom that day. Like, I'm not as balanced as a mother. I'm like not as focused with them. I'm not as like checked into what they need. But then there's other days where like it was my oldest son's birthday a couple weeks ago. And like that Friday, I worked until like from like basically 8 until like 11, 12 o'clock. And then the rest of the day was all about him. And I'm like, then Saturday morning, I had to get up early. Like, it wasn't a 7-11 day. It was like getting up in the 5s. Had to like really focus on work. But you have to give a little. Like, some days it's going to be more and some days it's going to be less. And I think that that's okay. And I think having that perspective with so many things in life is really important. I'm a perfectionist, and I have to remind myself every day, like, I am not perfect. I cannot be perfect. I can't be everything to everyone at the same time.
Yeah, I was raised also with parents who are like, try to reach balance, Sarah, try to reach it. But I'm a Virgo. I'm like, well, then how am I going to be perfect at each of the areas all at once?
It's hard. It's really hard. And I also want my kids to see that I'm working, I'm building something, like I'm trying to do something, like I'm providing for our family. You know, a proud moment for Jordan and I in December, it's like we bought our dream home. And I was trying to explain to my oldest son, because he knows, he was like very upset we were moving. And I'm like, Ezra, I have worked for the last, well, I've been working since I was 15. So literally for the last 20 years, I have worked so hard to get to where I am today, to buy this home, for us to be in together as a family. Like, you have to understand, like, this is like why I get up every day and I work, so I could provide for you and your brothers and your father. And I think that like having kids see their parents like really trying, no matter like what house they live in or what they're doing, just seeing that your parent is motivated to provide, but hopefully will really pay off in a few years for him and my other son.
Yeah. And like the honesty with your kids is so refreshing too. Just being like, this is why we're doing it instead of just because I said so.
No, I'm like, I feel like sometimes I'm too honest with them with a lot of things, but I think it's important to not shield our children because I don't want them to, like, when they're adults, not see the struggles that like we went through at times, you know?
Definitely. Thank you for opening up today. This has been awesome. What's one piece of advice you'd like to give anyone who's starting something new on their own? So whether it's within the food, bev, hospitality space, the creator space, or anywhere else that someone's looking to be an entrepreneur.
Put yourself out there because the worst that could happen is that it doesn't work out and it's okay. Like it is okay. Like I think you really, sometimes people just like don't believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in yourself, like no magic is going to happen. Things don't just land at your doorstep. I used to say that to Jordan all the time when he was trying to figure out what he wants to do. I'm like, you need to put yourself out there because like no one's going to just bang on our front door and be like, here's the opportunity of a lifetime. It doesn't work like that. So just have some faith in yourself and have the confidence and put yourself out there.
Definitely. Well, that's my goal for this year. It sounds like you're continuing to put everything you're doing out there too, which is so exciting. Rachel, we're at our last question, which always makes me so sad, but I'm excited to hear what your answer is.
Okay.
So a little reminder for folks, this is called the perfect bite because it's not just a perfect bite of folks across our food and bev space, but we all have our own perfect bites. So a moment, a recipe, something you ate that you'll never forget that just really made you smile. So Rachel, what is your perfect bite?
Oh my God, my perfect bite. My husband always jokes because I'm very methodical about how I eat. So every last bite of a meal is the perfect bite for me because I leave like a little bit of each thing to go onto the fork at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like if I'm eating
The combo.
Yeah, like if I'm eating a salad, like there's a part of every salad like on that last bite. I'm always like that. The last bite of anything I'm eating is the perfect bite.
And like, I love that because it's like a sense of gratitude as well as you're leaving the plate, as you're leaving the bite.
Yeah, 100%.
Seems like very
Like
you.
the last bite of a cookie, it has like the end and the middle in it. Like I'm weird. It's just like, it's all about the strategy.
I get that. Like I too leave certain bits of my food for the end because I'm like, it's going to be really great.
Exactly.
You can't have it at the beginning.
Totally.
Rachel, thank you again so much for your time, your wisdom, your stories here. As we're signing off here, can you let folks know where they can find you? So your social accounts, website, book launch date, cadootz, anything else coming up?
Yeah, so I'm at Rachel Mansfield. So there's no E in Rachel on Instagram. That's the same with my website. I'm on Substack. It's Rachel Mansfield and it's More Please. And cadootz is our snack brand. So we're at cadootz snacks on Instagram and cadootz.com. Oh, my book, More Please, is my second cookbook coming out. So please, please pre-order it. I'm so proud of it. It's 100 of the best recipes I've ever made.
And they can pre-order on your website, right?
Yeah, everything through my website. It's a great hub to start in.
Amazing. Love it. Love it. Thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, everyone, thank you so much for listening in. This was Rachel Mansfield's Perfect Bite.
Thanks for tuning in to The Perfect Bite today. You can listen to future episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Thanks in advance for subscribing, rating, and reviewing. You can follow The Perfect Bite on social media at Perfect Bite Pod. Now go get something good to eat.